Hey, what's up, guys? Daniel Austin here in the FightBox studio in Warsaw, Poland. I'm about to lay down some commentary on some kickboxing, a couple of fights from Tatneft, and also a couple of fights from KOK. Bro, speaking of KOK, is it pretentious to say bro? Bro, speaking of KOK, I just got back from Turkey and their big show in Turkey. It was insane in Turkey. 10,000 people in attendance for that event. And, listen, when there's 10,000 people, it's a good thing because it looks great on TV. There's this huge wall of people. When I was in the ring doing the interview with some of these guys, I'm looking out into the audience and there's just like a wall of people. And so that's great. It looks good on TV. It's good for the sport. But things can get ugly when there's 10,000 people in the audience. There was almost a riot. What happened was they kind of had this gimmick, the Champions League, the Kickboxing Champions League. Last time they had Turkey versus France. There was also 10,000 people there. This time also completely full in this beautiful outdoor arena in Sakarya, Turkey. And it was Turkey versus Russia. In the first Turkey versus Russia match, there's this female referee. And I ain't got nothing against female referees, but this woman was old. She was at least, I don't want to be disrespectful here, naming a number, but she was in her 50s. I think it's safe to be in her 50s, maybe older. I don't know how old she was. But for sure, she could not keep up with these young bucks. You have two young guys in their early 20s, running all around the ring, these two lightweights, and she could not keep up with these guys. In the end of the second round, the Turkish fighter's doubled over in pain. He's like holding his guts, and I'm not sure if he just got a kick in the stomach or if it was a low blow. And the Russian guy looks at the Turkish fighter, looks at the referee, and is like, "Hey, are you gonna stop the fight? What's going on?" And she didn't respond. She didn't say anything. And so he went ahead and he kicked him pretty hard in the stomach. And the fans were livid. They were pissed about this. If there's one thing about the Turkish fans, that they are extremely supportive and extremely supportive of their Turkish fighters, and they're extremely emotional people. And when they saw this, they were pissed. And they started screaming, shaking their hands in the air, shouting, standing up. And some of the fans began throwing bottles towards the ringside area. Now, I'm actually positioned looking at the ring, and the fans are behind me, a lot of them. And they start chucking water bottles into the ring. And you're probably thinking, well, plastic water bottles, it's better than glass. But let me tell you, one of the bottles whizzed right past my head and slammed into the monitor that the Polish commentator was watching, and it was just like, bam, it smashed, it startled me. And more water bottles kept flying. I think one of them actually hit me in the back. It must have, because there was between my back and the chair, there was a water bottle wedged in between there. And things were completely out of control at one point. I thought they were going to start storming the ring, but security stood up behind me and was making a wall, telling everybody to sit down. The ring announcer, who was Turkish, was on the microphone. Of course, I have no idea what he was saying. But I assume it was something along the lines of, hey, sit down, relax, stop throwing things at the ring. We've got this situation under control. And when they came out for the start of the third round, then, they hugged and they touched gloves, and the people saw that everything's okay, which I thought was a very wise decision on the part of the Russian team, because I wasn't sure if they were going to make it out of the building or not. But then the very next fight, the second Turkey versus Russia fight, it almost happened again. Something illegal happened, just something small, and more water bottles get thrown into the ring. But this time it was just a few bad apples. It was probably just 2 or 3 or 4 guys, and the police were already positioned at different places amongst the fans, and they grabbed those guys and they threw them out of the building. Also, in that second fight, one of the best knockouts of the year. Let me take that back. The biggest knockout of the year in King of Kings. This Turkish kid was in a frickin' coma. Let me tell you, I wrote on social media, I think 3 to 5 minutes earlier. I may have been exaggerating a little bit. I went back and I watched the fight again, and it was literally 2 minutes long, 2 solid minutes. And time is a funny thing, because time is relative. So what seems like a long time to somebody could seem like a very short time to somebody else. And if you go back and you watch the replay on FightBox, or you watch the replay on KOKFights.tv, you'll already know that he's going to be okay. But when you're live in the arena and the kid's just laying on the floor and he's unresponsive, and he's not responding to the smelling salts, and he's not responding to water being poured on him or to people slapping him in the face or whatever, it's kind of a scary thing. We've just had 2 boxers recently who have died in the ring because of the results of their thing, and that's going through my head because that's a fresh thing, and this kid's not getting up, and it's 2 minutes later, and he finally comes around, and he was okay. But the biggest knockout of the year for sure in King of Kings. And there was another fight too that was a little bit controversial. It was a women's fight between the Cannibal and the Angel of Death. And at this point, I'm thinking I'm doing commentary on a pro wrestling match. But cool nicknames. And for sure, in my opinion, I thought that the Cannibal outpointed the local fighter, who was the Angel of Death. But that's not how the judges saw it. They scored a unanimous decision in favor of the hometown fighter, the Angel of Death. And the coach of the Cannibal was not as easygoing about it as I was. He was furious and was having to be physically restrained outside the ring from jumping in the ring and trying to kill somebody. So a very emotional night at King of Kings. Bottles being thrown, coaches having to be physically restrained, a very big knockout, and incredible baklava, lots of Turkish coffee. So it was a great trip overall. I'll tell you what, King of Kings Turkey is a very exciting place. I kind of view this, and I hope this is going to happen, but I think you kind of open the floodgates to new talent from the Middle East, because in King of Kings you see a lot of fighters from Azerbaijan, from Turkmenistan, from Uzbekistan, from Iran, from a lot of Middle Eastern countries, a lot of these former Soviet countries. And this is kind of just like a whole wealth of undiscovered talents who are coming in to Turkey. And it's a great way to always keep a steady flow of new, exciting, undiscovered talents. One fight that I would love to see happen, and I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I'm going to put it out there. I want to see this fight. Masoud Mineh, who's from Iran and who's undefeated in King of Kings. I think he's won at least 4 or 5 fights in King of Kings and is knocking people out. This is a guy who's fought Yatsenklev. He's had a lot of other big fights under his belt, and he's killing everybody in King of Kings Turkey. I would like to see him against Elkan Aliyev, who's also from Azerbaijan, who's never fought in Turkey before, but has won the King of Kings Lightweight World Grand Prix in London last summer, and this year in London beat Nathan Epps, who's in the top 10, maybe even in the top 5 in England. So, wrecked him. It was a big win for him. I would like to see those 2 guys meet in King of Kings Turkey. Don't know if it's going to happen. Would love to see it happen. And for sure, guys, KOK is not done yet. They're going back to Turkey on August 16th in just a few weeks. And not sure exactly where the show is going to be. I've heard some rumors that it's going to be another Champions League kickboxing event in Turkey. So it could be Turkey versus somebody else in that same arena, which would be awesome. And I've also heard rumors that perhaps it's going to be in Şarköy, which is a seaside town on the European side of Turkey. And last time we were there, it was about 20,000 people in attendance. So that would be exciting if it's there. as well. But stay tuned to the KOK social media pages. They'll have more info. KOK Fights or KOK Fights Turkey on social media. And right now, I'm going to get ready to put the headset on and go to work and lay down some commentary. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.